Ladies and gentlemen, just like a soldier, a mother is never off duty. And this picture on your screens pretty much proves that. The lady you see is a Railway Protection Force constable. Her name is Reena. She became an internet sensation right after a video surfaced online showing her working at the New Delhi railway station with her infant on her bosom. With her son snuggling in a baby carrier and a baton in her hand, Reena patrolled the crowded New Delhi railway station on Sunday, which is right after the stampede that killed 18 people. She had been on leave, but when duty called, she didn't hesitate to step up. She dropped off her 2 daughters at a daycare and then, with her infant son, reported to work. Her husband is posted in Jammu, so she sought special permission to bring the baby to work. Now, Reena's picture has reminded many people of Rani Lakshmi Bai, who fought the British with her infant son tied to her back. Many are calling her Mother India as well. There have been others like her, ladies and gentlemen. IS officer Soumya Pandey, who just 14 days after giving birth, rejoined as the sub-divisional magistrate of Modinagar. Then there is Srijana Gumala, who during the COVID-19 crisis cancelled her maternity leave and returned to work as the Commissioner of Greater Visakhapatnam Municipal Corporation only 22 days after she gave birth. These women, ladies and gentlemen, are celebrated as heroes. But let's pause and take a look at the larger picture. Reena was at the job policing an overcrowded railway station with her child strapped on her because she didn't have a choice, because raising a child is only a mother's duty in India. And the social infrastructure to support mothers like her simply doesn't exist. Little wonder then that most women who opt out of the workforce attribute childcare as the #1 reason for it. The #2 reason is household work. Dr. Swasti Rao is a mother. She's also a geopolitical expert joining us on the broadcast. Meeta Chakrabarti is an IT entrepreneur. She's a politician. Abha Singh is a lawyer. She's also an activist. Thank you, all three of you. We've, of course, seen all three of you in different roles as spokespersons for various ideologies that you represent. But today we are speaking about this picture, and I want to ask all of you what you make of this picture. Dr. Swasti Rao, can I start with you? You are a mother to a young girl as well. We've often seen pictures of you with her on social media. Yes, we are celebrating someone like Reena. We are celebrating her because it shows us that, mothers can show up for work even when they are not in a position to do so. But are we glorifying something Reena shouldn't have had to go through?
Good evening to you, Shreya. See, the picture speaks 1,000 words. It's made me very proud of where we have come as a society. But at the same time, it's made me sad. And I think all women here would perhaps say the same thing, because female employment is inherently linked to women's empowerment. Of course, it is a necessary but not a sufficient condition for true empowerment, right? So the markers have improved. There are more women coming out and working, but the markers don't tell you the story, because we have to distinguish between what is procedural empowerment and what is substantive empowerment. And what we are seeing here perhaps is more of procedural empowerment, because let's remember, maternity is not charity. And I think this has been widely recognized. I'm sure, people with a legal background who deal with these matters are definitely better at explaining, all the legal frameworks, etc. for it. But as a mother myself, I mean, I can tell you that so many times in my own career, I do see that the problem that we suffer from is oversimplification. As a society, we just tend to oversimplify the issue, because celebrating a single policewoman or an IAS officer or somebody else nursing a child on duty, it kind of makes for compelling social media moments. It makes for compelling discussions, but it does not reflect the broader societal mindset. No, it remains deeply patriarchal. It remains sexualized. It remains discriminatory. And at a societal level, I can tell you from my own experience, I'm very lucky to be working with a lot of men who have a lot of empathy, but still at the societal level, we are not uncomfortable with women who are pregnant, women who are nursing, women who are mothers. And I still do not understand why is it so difficult for us to put our act together and really sort of come up with something which is more solution oriented. So I think we definitely need to work over that. And
Okay. Okay.
I mean, we have to, on the one hand, be careful of how these are not misused, because I'm sure that's another problem that we suffer from, that if you put too many existing legal frameworks,
Sure.
to fruition without really caring about the substance, I think it is often, again, misused, because at the societal level, we are not able to sort of treat it
Okay.
properly. But then I don't think there is a simple answer. This
Meeta
particular picture,
Chakrabarti.
Shreya, makes me happy, but it also makes me sad. It also somewhere, reminds me of all the different struggles and all the untold stories. Okay, having four women out there doesn't really tell you the stories of the millions of women whose stories are untold, isn't it? So I think this is a moment for us to
No,
deeply
there is some
self-reflect.
data. There is some data that does tell us a larger story, and this is the government's own data, Meeta Chakrabarti. It comes from the periodic labor force survey. This is for last year, 2022-2023. Look at the data and look at what it is telling us. 99% fathers in this country are engaged in the labor market. How many mothers? Only 41%. Rural India seems to be doing better, maybe because it has more social infrastructure as far as childcare is concerned, maybe grandparents, relatives, etc. 45% women in rural India actually work, are part of the labor force. What about urban India, from where these pictures of Reena are coming? 28% only. 28% mothers in urban India actually work. That's the number. That should be worrying us all as we see these pictures. Women who drop out of the workplace, what is the number one reason they give for dropping out from the workplace? Childcare. Number two is household chores. Meeta Chakrabarti, therefore, as we celebrate Reena and we celebrate her resilience, and to some extent celebrate, her employer as well, to give her the flexibility to bring the baby to work, honestly, what this visual is also representing is the challenges of a working mother. Sometimes you simply don't have a choice because you don't have the infrastructure to support you. Meeta, you'll have to unmute yourself, please.
The data that you just quoted has actually paints the true picture that one of the leading reasons why women do drop out from the workforce after giving childbirth is because of the lack of adequate support structure. So the societal mindset has to change, and there has to be enough childcare support, be it within the family or be it outside as extended part of the society, be it from the employer's side, be it state run. Because when you are looking at, okay, fine, if you have an exceptional situation where you have, for example, the COVID example that you gave, during a crisis management situation, a woman coming back to work with an infant possibly makes sense. But if you make that a norm, then are we providing the right environment for the infant or for the toddler? Unfortunately, no. If there is a security personnel, a female security personnel trying to police a railway station with an infant and toddler, from the health and safety perspective, is it the right environment for the toddler or for the infant? It is not. So while we are cherishing the option that she has got, the flexibility she has got, her inner resilience, but from the overall point of view, I think it's very problematic. And we need to look at better support structures. We need to look at how to provide better childcare facilities to working women, how to make it comfortable not only for the mother, but also for the child, and to give enough protection and enough secured environment for the toddlers and the infants. And this entire
Okay, and
mindset
when we
that we
showed the
look
pictures
only as
of
the
the
mother's
IAS officers,
responsibility, that is only looked at as the mother's responsibility to raise the child, even if she's financially contributing towards the family expenses, that too needs to change with time.
as we look at these pictures, yes, to many it will tell a similar story, a story that is similar to Reena's, but not really. Ladies and gentlemen, just if you look at the pictures, you'll know what I'm talking about. for the IAS officer Soumya Pandey or for the IAS officer in charge of Greater Visakhapatnam, the fact is, even if their babies were coming to work, they were coming to work in a privileged environment, Abha Singh. In the case of Reena, her baby is not exactly coming to work with her in an environment that can even from a distance be declared as privileged. This is a crowded railway station. The Mahakumbh crowd, is crazy, absolutely crazy. A stampede has just broken out. This woman is on duty for 8 hours, 9 hours, and she's carrying a baby who's at least 5 or 6 kgs on her all the time, patrolling the railway station. This is not a choice any mother wants to make. Are you surprised that Reena is still working and has not quit like many, many other women in this country do?
When I saw this on Twitter, the first question I put on that thing was that did her seniors not give her childcare leave? As of now, you get 6 months of paid maternity leave, another 6 months of unpaid maternity leave, then there is 360 days of childcare leave. I mean, how could railways be so inhuman that you don't give her adequate leave? I was angry. And the second thing it struck me was that there are guidelines. I've worked in the government for 20 years myself, that you need to have a creche facility if you have women working in the organization. Why was there not a creche facility in the nearby wherever her office was? Because where she could have left her child and then come to work. So not only is she endangering her back, but also the life of the child, exposing him to such bad work conditions. I mean, there is a stampede, there can be another stampede, you are endangering the life of the child. I mean, that is not the way. I'm not happy. The IS officer also coming after 20 days, I would like to ask them, government is not so inhuman. You can take your 6 months leave. And then also it struck me, was railway trying to divert attention by propping her up for one day so that we, rather than focusing on the deaths, we talk of this baby, and which it has happened because you and I are today talking about it on television. So when there are guidelines, how a child is to be brought up, in the sense in the government you are giving 180 days of paid leave, another 180 days of unpaid leave, then was this girl, why was she denied? And let me tell you, women do drop out because of not having any support at home. But here in her case, when she has taken a job like police, why there is no family support? The bosses are not supporting, family is not supporting. And paternity leave, her husband is in Jammu. Couldn't her husband be given a posting? Because there are guidelines in the government, as far as possible, husband and wife should be posted together. So paternity leave, forget paternity leave, give them a posting together. RG Kar, that medical, lost her life because there was no restroom and she went and slept in a dormitory where she was raped and murdered. So this told me the hazards of women working in the government organizations.
So, Abha Singh, here's the point. You are saying that the railways was insensitive. No, but here's the point, Abha Singh, here's the point. She did get her maternity leave. And then when she came back, she said, look, I have no support. Can I bring my baby to work? Now, many people will say that actually the Railway Protection Force was being a very kind and inclusive employer by letting her do what she wants to do, which is bring her baby to work. I'm not very sure many other organizations in this country would give mothers that option.
No, Shreya, to give her work, that if she's coming with a baby, you put her on a platform which has had a stampede, which has millions of people coming to board a train on Prayagraj. You mean to say her bosses are so heartless and callous? I can't believe it. I've worked it for 20 years. I had thousands of postmen working under me. We never thought that if my postwoman has a small child, I never, in my 20 years, I did not see a postwoman putting a baby on her bag and carrying a post bag and delivering letters. We are humane. How can Railway Authority, the Railway Protection Force, the DG, he should come and apologize to all the women of this country, because you are telling women, stay at home. If you are going to have a child, this is how we will treat you. I am not overjoyed with this. This is not the kind of treatment that has to be meted out to women who have come out to work. You have rightly said that the women participation is barely 41%. Your labor statistics. Because this is how the seniors behave, this is how the bosses behave. And even if she had to bring the child, you could have given her a softer job. Not patrolling the platform where stampede had happened.
Okay, I think I've heard all three of you. And while we understand why that video of Reena went viral, why it has done so well on social media, and why we have people comparing her to Jhansi Ki Rani and to Mother India, this picture is also worrying, ladies and gentlemen, at multiple levels. You have heard from three working mothers. Please think about it. We'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much, Dr. Swasti Rao, for joining us. Meeta Chakrabarti, good to have you on the show. Abha Singh, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's a wrap from me. Thank you very much for joining us here this evening on Mirror Now. Shreya Dhoundial is up next with all the day's top stories. Do stay with us.